Hey, everybody, and welcome to the Unapologetic Queens radio show. I'm Talia.
I'm Christina.
And we are back with Maria.
Hi, ladies.
Yeah, we were just catching up on the Real Housewives real quick. We were just talking about some things.
Right, and I don't even watch it for real, but like I have been hearing about that stuff.
I saw Twitter. Shout out to y'all Twitter.
Yeah. I've been hearing about that stuff, right?
And it's crazy. We were just saying how, like, you know, Portia is a good person for not beating Phaedra up for that. And so was Kandi.
Yeah, no, and
especially
I think
Kandi.
I think it took a lot for Kandi not to, you know, react in that way. But then you got to look at it. It kind of makes you think, wow, this is somebody that's supposed to be my friend, because Portia really felt that Phaedra was her close friend. They had been close like all season, and they did everything together, you know, and to find out that the person that close to you actually, you know, lied to you about something so serious. And it's one thing for it to, you know, be a joke, or, you know, you just saying it because you trying to get back at somebody else. But when she saw how serious that was becoming, because Kandi gave Portia a cease and desist letter. Like, she couldn't talk about it at all. Like, Kandi really was going to, like, try and press charges against Portia because she's running around telling people that, oh, you're going to drug her.
Slander?
Pretty much, exactly. Accusing her of her and her husband being, like, rapists or something. And it's just, like, it's sad because it makes you question, like, your friendship with people.
That's crazy. Especially, I think people forget how serious things involving sexual abuse are. I think the statistics is what, 1 out of every 4 children deals with sexual. You don't know what people's pasts are,
right?
And how many women are on that stage. So if we use the
don't.
statistic, 1 out of every 4, there's like what, 8 people on. I don't watch it, but that's at least 2 people.
Yeah, it's like about 8 people.
And I remember seeing the clip because I had, you know, I was doing my research. I was like, man, I don't got TV. I got to see this. But Portia was saying how, like, what the women have in common is pain. And now, granted, I only saw the clips. I don't know what she was talking about in detail. But I'm like, you don't know how triggering that could have been for her. You don't know what she's been through. Like,
you don't just, that's not something, you know, like, women can be catty or whatever.
Right.
And start rumors and everything.
Right.
You know, like, that's neither here nor there, but when you say things like that, that's
extreme.
That's extreme.
A whole
like, what type of mental nutcase are you?
No,
and
seriously.
The crazy thing is, Portia was like, so I was just a pawn in whatever it was that you were trying to do, and you genuinely were my friend. Like, I felt like we were friends, we were close, like we shared some things, and it was just kind of just like, how can you or would you do that? Like, and the question is, I feel like every female has been through something where they have had a close friend and felt that they were like their close friend, and they've done something like to betray them in that way. And I feel like it's sad because then it just makes the divide even more between us, even as Black women.
Because you always, like, regardless of what happens after that, you're a fool if you don't remember what somebody did. Like, at that point, you definitely always forgive, and I'm big on that principle, but like, it does change the relationship. Yeah. Especially something that extreme. She walked out. It wasn't like, oh, I lost your MAC lip liner.
Right.
I've done that before.
And
Sorry,
it's
Michaela.
Just like, now, I'm pretty sure that Portia's on the fence about even befriending people.
Right,
and
absolutely.
It's sad because you don't know, you know, the type of relationship that you can have with new people, and everybody is not the same. That's just like even in a relationship. When you get hurt by that one guy and then, you know, you start dating other guys, you still hold on to that hurt from that past relationship. So it hinders you from even progressing or moving forward with someone else. So I think it's completely insane. That's why you just got to let some people go. That's why I have my little core group of girls, and that's it. I've been in situations where I've met new people, I've befriended them, and they did like some shady stuff. And I'm just like, but why would you do that to me though? I'm a really good friend. I know that for a fact. Why would you even do that to me? If you felt any type of way, you come to me and you talk to me and we hash it out and we move on. Don't be shady. But then other people have their own insecurities too. We also have to realize that you know, people have their own insecurities within themselves, and
they
act on it. Yeah,
that's strange. Why be someone's friend and be like that though?
Yeah,
like that. And like, there's just, I've heard so many stories. I mean, luckily, thank God, this hasn't happened to me. Knock on, oh Jesus Christ. But like, one of my good friends, she also happens to be my line sister, was like, she does not like girls. To the point where I'm like, how'd you end up in a sorority?
Right.
I'm like, how'd you? And but like, you know, as we got closer and started talking, because that's one thing she's like, it's twin girls. So I used to be like, shut up. Like, and started talking. She was telling me how like in high school she befriended a girl who was younger than her, and she was like, oh, this is like my little sister. Come to find out, her boyfriend, you know, serious, like, you know how we are in high school, like that's serious. Thing going married this man was cheating on her with the girl. And so ever since, like, so she does not like or trust girls, like, at all. And I can't really blame her. Yeah. Sometimes the way she acts, like, she's one of those people, when you first meet her, she's like, she could be nice, but she could be, like, you can tell she a little standoffish. Like, okay. But it makes sense, though. Because you have somebody who is so close to you, that's your little sister, you're a mentee, like, that's your little mentee, little sis, you take them everywhere, and you do them like that. Like, wow.
That's dirty.
That's
like,
grimy.
It's real dirty.
Especially when you close, like you real close.
Yeah, it's like y'all hanging out, like y'all picking each other up.
Yeah, like y'all know you see me with
houses. Yeah, it's sad. It is so sad. And the thing is, like I said, it's a lot of times a lot of people have their own internal issues, you know, within themselves. Like it's insane. Trust me, I've been on that end where, like, it's happened to me, and I've just been like, but that just doesn't make any sense. I don't understand, like, I'm not even that kind of person. Like, I'm a great friend, like, I'm a good person, I'm always there, I hold you down. So, why would you even do something like so that? Shady like that?
You know what? I feel like a lot of times it's not even about you. It really isn't. I think it's about them and about what they thought they had, you know, with that person. You know what I mean? Like, you were making this decision, you know, like, even though, like, say with the girl and that's her friend or whatever, you know, she knew that was her best friend or whatever, but then she's thinking, like, whatever this nigga's telling her is what she's believing. So she's sitting here like, no, like, I guess this is about me. So then she's not even thinking about the fact that this would really hurt my friend. She's thinking, like,
well, he's telling me all this stuff.
Right.
That's so, he coming at me.
You know,
I've met chicks that be like, well, I mean, if he come at me, then it ain't no issue. I mean, he coming at me. I ain't coming at him, so that's her problem. And
that's unfathomable to me. Like,
no,
I don't understand
totally agree.
how you can sit back and think about yourself so much. Maybe because I, like, think about if you're close to me, like, I think about you first. Like, I think about how things are going to affect you and things like that. Like, if I start being selfish towards you, know that you earned that shit.
Right.
Like, friend, family, homegirl, acquaintance. If I start being like, oh, yeah, I didn't really care about how you felt, you earned it. Like, you've done multiple things. Like, this has been built over time, brick by brick. Yeah. So it's just crazy to think that someone will really be like, well, I didn't think about you in that moment. Fuck
but
you, mean, bitch. Like, that's the type of stuff that really makes me
like, that's what friends do. Like, and the crazy thing is, when you approach these people, it's kind of just like, I'm gonna hold you accountable for what you did, and I felt like that's what Portia was doing, and she had every right to hold, you know, Phaedra accountable for the stuff that she said to her. And granted, Portia be a little extra and everything else, and when in that moment, she was like, "Yo, you told me," and Phaedra kept saying, "No, I said someone told me." She said, "No, like you told me. I wouldn't even be out here, you know, pushing this if you didn't say you heard directly from her." And that's the sad part about it, because now it's kind of like, how do you rebuild that trust with somebody that you thought was your friend?
Yeah, it's quiet. I mean, you can believe, in that situation, I feel like it's quiet. Like, you don't have any business being friends with someone, because I'm just convinced. Like,
especially since you see me out here talking about
right, like, you see how affected I am. This is hurting me.
How serious
this is right. This is stressing me out. I got people living rent free in my mind because it's something you said and it's not even true.
Candy sent her a cease and desist letter.
Right, this is the law involved. Like, what? This blew up because you were being petty.
Yeah. That's crazy. Like, beyond crazy. That's like sociopath type stuff.
Yeah,
like, you know,
that's exactly what I thought when I heard about it. I was like, so she's a sociopath. She doesn't care about anybody. She can't.
And that's what, you know, that's what she is, a Lyoya. So that's what she's
and she's
doing.
A mom too. And that's another
crazy,
thing.
yeah.
Like, I feel like those women, they're older. Like, they're old. Not old.
No, but I know they're too doing this.
Old to be acting like that. And to be doing all of that catty stuff. And it's kind of just like, that prevents. That's one of the reasons why some women are so, you know, not really open to having, a lot of female friends because of stuff like that. Women are jealous, women, do shady stuff, women are emotional, but it's just like, it's insane. That's why I only got my little core.
Right. It's true. If you watch people long enough, though, you'll figure out who's who. Like, because it'll come, especially for me, I know I, like, look at people for two things. And I look at people for, like, how you deal with, how you act when it comes to men, because men are so replaceable in my brain that I would never grind my friend over a guy. Like, I can, what? Like, that's insane to me. Like, that's crazy. So that type of stuff, red flag. And then things like petty, I don't want to say petty, but like petty opportunity. People who show you they're willing to step on you to get somewhere. If you don't write that shit down in your brain, you're dumb. Like, I'm sorry. Like, you're dumb. Like, you can't be mad because if something happens again, you knew. Right. You knew what that person was capable of. So you just got to just be like, okay, cool. And just keep a note and then just deal with people accordingly. It doesn't make them, some people's decisions, I don't think make them like holistically terrible people, but you just have to know who people are for you and how close you should let them in your life. They may be great for somebody else. Exactly. But like, that's one thing my mom always used to tell me. She was like, everybody's best friend is not your best friend. Exactly. Like, some people are just not for you, and that you need to learn that that's all right. Like, it's okay. You'll find people who are for you.
And when people show you who they are, you got to believe them. The first time. Yeah. And I'm a firm believer in giving people, second chances, because no one's perfect. Everybody, falls short in some form or have done something to hurt someone else's feelings.
We all need forgiveness.
Exactly. Everybody needs forgiveness. But at the same time, if I forgive you once and you continue to do things that are hurtful towards me, then that's showing me, that yes, you really are this person. So you got to walk away and let it go.
Chalk it to the game. It sucks though. I think people don't realize that that's hard. Like, I feel for Portia right now, because not only did you find she was stressing about something for months, but you also lost a friend and you damaged enough. I don't know how close she was with Candy. Like I said, I don't really watch.
She's sitting here talking about this, really talking about this.
No,
some shit that
and some people need to talk. Like, some people need to talk things through. Yeah. And Portia's so sweet. I like her in theory, and I did appreciate her for dragging Kenya. I'm not gonna lie. I did. I was like, yikes, but like. Yeah, I feel for that woman. I feel for Candy. I've seen the memes with Candy crying and Phaedra looking indifferent, and I didn't know what anybody was talking about. Like, I was confused. And then when I found out what was going on, I was like...
Yeah, it's completely insane. And then Candy was kind of like, well, Portia, you know me, so why would you even believe that? And she was like, but that's my friend. Like, me and Phaedra are, like, close, so her telling me that you said it... Granted, I did think about... She said, I did think, like... No, that ain't Candy. But then it's coming from my friend who I'm close.
And I feel like has no reason to lie to me.
Exactly. Like, and that's exactly how she felt. But it's insane. I mean, but you got to, understand that people are people. And
you can't get mad at people for being people.
Yeah. And sometimes, people have to, some things have to happen for people to really take a look at themselves and realize, what they're doing isn't really the right thing to do. Either one or two things are going to happen. They're going to recognize it and they're going to change, or they'll ignore it and continue to
do what they want to do. Facts. And know that you don't have to be in their lives while they're growing. Like, I feel like people, because one thing one of my good friends, Michaela, I love her so much, she was like, protecting my energy, and she had like this whole thing like, protecting my energy, I don't have to answer the phone. Protecting my energy, I don't have to do this. Like, it's okay for me to do this. And so she was like, if I'm in a place right now, don't be offended. And the side text, I was like, that was very inspirational, girl. Because she did, like, we had been talking about how, like, she's been distancing herself from certain people and kind of being close. Because there's people in her life who need to grow. And, like, so a few of them she considers some of her very best friends. But they keep doing very selfish and hurtful things towards her. And she's not a selfish person. Like, she's the type of friend who's, like, will give you her coat if you're cold. So for her to have selfish people in such proximity to her really, really hurts her. And she's like, I understand that this person was, like, these people were, like, some of my very best friends, but they're not where I am when it comes to friendship. But they need to understand that while they're trying to grow, I'm not obligated to be close to them anymore. Like, and I was like, that's a very good point. Like, you're not obligated to be close to anybody just because they're unlearning to be like, or because they're learning to love the way you love. You don't have to be close to them during that time. Y'all can come back together later.
And like she said, protect your energy. Oprah has this video that's going around Instagram with Oprah really talking about energy and how you have to be responsible for the energy that's around you and your own energy. And if you keep bringing people around you and their energy is not aligned with yours, then you have to, you know, be responsible in removing that energy and having energy that aligns with yours in your circle. Like, everybody is not supposed to be with you. Everybody is not supposed to grow with you. I've had friends who I've been friends with since birth who I'm no longer friends with. You know, because growth, people change, things, you know, happen. I have friends who I felt that I was really, really close to for a moment, and things happen, and we just stopped talking. And I mean, you have to kind of just go with, you know, the flow when things naturally and organically moves, because you grow and you change every day, and things shift, energies shift. So you have to be mindful about that and be okay with that.
And that's the hard part, is being okay with it. It's so hard, because you'll be like, oh, but now, you know, they was my nigga, and we had this together, and we did this together, and then it's just like, but at the same time, are you draining me as a person?
Right.
Are you sucking me into your bullshit? Are
you
like,
no, exactly.
Like, are you causing
exactly.
drama in my life? That's not
necessarily,
you know, like, you know, the typical story of like somebody like moving out the hood before they got to a certain point in their life that really could have changed their whole life. And I feel like, honestly, like, I know I didn't live in the hood personally, but you know, like, I moved from an area that wants to be hood, and you know, like,
that's where I live,
to like a suburb, like a real suburb where, like, you know, kids was like, I like to read and go to school, and you know, from a place where like mad people got pregnant in 8th grade. So I'm like, there are things that happen to you for a reason. Like, God is like, here, I know this sucks right now, but you gonna thank me later.
Yeah.
Like, the energy is is so important. I'm just, you know, shout out to Tondi, because Tondi's our friend. She's our Sawyer, and she knows, like, if there's certain things in your space that you can't have around you, then it's either gonna hurt you, or it's gonna take from you.
It's gonna suck you dry.
No, you're absolutely right. And it's funny because I'm the type of person where, like, when things go wrong or something changes, I want to know why. Like, what happened? Why are you acting this way? Why did this happen? What is wrong? What can I do? What didn't I do? What didn't you do? Like, I need to know, like, I need
answers and closure.
Yeah. And for me, like, I'm realizing and learning, even to this day, that some things are just better left unsaid. If the energy is not aligned with where I'm at, then I just have to let it take its natural course, whether it's staying in or going out. And I can't force or make that energy stay with me.
That's true. That's very true. Especially for people who, I don't know about like how y'all are, but I know for me, I love uplifting people, and I will pour so much into other people. Like, I noticed the like pattern that I have. Like, I'll date or be close friends with people who are just like negative or like just dealing with a lot. Maybe it's not negativity, maybe it's like a form of depression, or just like just have things going on, and I'm like, oh well, I could make their life better. Like, I'll be your little ray of sunshine. Son, that, like, I know for me does not work. Like, I know I have to limit my time with those types of people, because it's so easy for me to fall into that too. And so what, like, then who's helping who? Nobody. Or you're more positive now, and like, you know, it's an exchange of energy. So now I have what you have, and you have what I have.
Yes.
Exactly.
And then how do you refill yourself up from that? Like, you have to be very, very, very perspective of your space, your energy, and you also have to know what type of person you are. If you're somebody who's a giver, then know that people will zap you dry. If you're somebody who's naturally a taker, then you have to be aware of how much you're taking from people and try to learn to be a giver. If you're somebody who's in between, you need to learn how to keep that balance. Like, you have to learn about who and how you are and how you function, because if not...
Yeah, and a lot of times it does take, you know, certain situations to happen in order for you to kind of like be like, wow, okay, so maybe I can be a little bit more, giving. And then, like I said, people change, people grow, people's energy kind of shift. But if you're around someone that energy, shifts a little bit and it brings you down, then you got to kind of find a way to kind of either get out of that, exchange that to where you both are on the same wave as far as your energy and giving back to each other. That's really, for me, what it is. When it comes to like me, my friends, and even my relationships, I'm not perfect. Nobody's perfect. But I do, feel as though when I'm down, I do expect, my friends to kind of like lift me up, and vice versa. I'm definitely, that person where I'm always there. I'm always like, okay, look, don't worry about it. Things gonna get good. And then when it's on me, it's kind of just like, okay, hey guys, I need somebody to like help me. Help. Right. So it's just being aware of your space, and sometimes you have to be selfish.
So I got a question for both of y'all.
Okay.
So what's something that like that really hurts you to go through? It really like it took a lot out of you, and you thought that you weren't gonna get through this, but now see in hindsight you're like, okay, yeah, like that was a good idea. Like that was a really good decision that I made, or that needed to happen.
Oh man.
Like now, like particularly now, you feel like, okay, that's why that happened, and this is why, and I understand why this happened now. What was that for you? This
wait, you really want okay, so for me, to be honest with you, I recently lost my job back in July. Mm-hmm. I hated that place. I would complain about going in. I hated the people. I was just like, I don't want to be here. I hate this place. It's just awful. I did not like it. I ended up getting laid off in July. Still haven't had a job, like a solid full-time job, as of yet. But going through the process and going through everything, thank God for the people that are in my life, because they really are, genuine, people. And I'm, like I said, I've always been that person to, help any and everybody out when they going through stuff. So now that it's on me, it's kind of just like, wow, I'm really like going through, and I really have a good group of people around me that really, help me. They uplift me in everything in this process, and it is a total process. I understand now why this process happened. I was unhappy where I was at. I think I needed this time to kind of refocus some things on what it is that I wanted to do with, my own business and even in my life, and making changes within that. So I think that that's where it's at. And prayers up. I got something that's aligned maybe in a couple of weeks. So other than that, like, I understand the process now, but going through it is like a tough thing, And when I say recently, like, I recently realized this within a matter of a few weeks. Like, I have gone through the process of being depressed and things like that. And I've been in situations to where, I've been like in a bad situation, like, man, I need to get out of this. And I've gotten out of it in time, but this has been the longest that it's ever, happened. And for me, shout out to, all of my friends, like, for praying for me, even myself, having like good energy around me, because that definitely, helps me. And to prevent you from really thinking of the negative that's going on, and it really, helps. So for me, I understand the process now. I didn't quite at first, but I do.
Okay. Mine is not that complete. It just gave me a little more freedom to think about things that I needed to think about. So I was in a situation where I was just with somebody who I just know I had no business being. Like, I just know. And, like, it was great in theory. It's like, well, theoretically, it could be this. Right. But in reality, it's this. And it's really ironic that you asked that because I was going through my notes and my phone because I was on a really long flight yesterday. I was like, oh, my God. And I was looking at some of the things I had written and the way that it would change. It would be like, you know, 1 week it was this, and next week it was this, and 1 week it was like, what human can handle that type of instability in such intimate spaces? Mm-hmm. And so I remember watching a sermon about soul ties, right? And so, I mean, like, people call them literally people call them different things, like based on like what you believe in. If you're not someone who believes in God, then people call it like a different type of energy. But either way, there is a type of tie that you have to people that you like have been in close, intimate relationships with. And it was one of those things where it's like, I think breaking those are the hardest. Because there's a type of unexplainable attachment, whether positive or negative. And it's like, no matter what you do, how hard you fight, how much you try to rationalize, things that are not meant to be will not happen, period. Like, period. Like,
and in those instances, you have to learn to let it go. Even though you may not want to, because at the moment, because of the instant gratification and right there in that moment, it's like, no, I don't want to do this. And you're not necessarily thinking about long term,
exactly,
or what the reason behind all of that is for, because a lot of times you can hold on to something and it's blocking what's supposed to come your way.
Exactly. No, and seriously, like you said, thinking about long term, because the thing about it is like things like this happen in a few ways, because I've had friends in this type of situation where it's like long term, there are aspects about this person that I absolutely cannot be with. So why are you there now? You're wasting your time. Because you know what's going to happen in the long term. And, like, I'm always somebody who I cannot stand confusion. If there's confusion in it, I'm telling you, I will back so far up. Like, I hate confusion, dysfunction. Like, I cannot stand it. But when you notice in certain relationships in your life, friendships, relationships, even with family members, that is always confusion, you gotta look at it. Yes. You gotta look at it. And when I say this thing was so toxic on both sides, and I know for me, like, I'm not a very toxic person. No, I don't think anyone really is per se. Yeah. But like, I don't know, just the level of dysfunction that was taking place. Yeah, exactly. And the level of dysfunction was like all this like rational, like, you know. So basically, finally, I forget what the situation was, but I was like, you know what, this is it. Like, this is way too much. Way too far, way too much. It's quiet. Like, I mean, like, blocked on all forms of social media. No. Blocked. Like, it's just because...
You have to. You have to.
And deep down, I mean, I knew long before that. Like, I knew long.
It always happens that way. And that's the crazy thing, especially in relationships. Especially us as women, we tend to kind of, like, ride things out and like, oh, it's going to get better because you have that intimate connection where you have feelings for that person, or you've been with that person for a long time, and it's just like, you
familiarity.
Know, I'm going to, I don't necessarily want to start over. Like, I'm just going to try and work this out. And majority of the times when those things continue to happen, that's letting you know that this is not for you. So you have to be okay with letting it go. I've been in a situation where, you know, I thought that me and this person were really going to like live happily ever after, you know, be together forever. And it did not happen that way. When it was bad, it was bad.
Girl, and that's how it is. It's so bad when it's bad. It's bad.
Always like bad. Like every time I speak to you, like we're having an argument or it's something wrong. And then it was kind of like, so we kind of like ended things. And that was it. Then, you know, a few months later, hey, just checking on you. Yeah, no, hey, big head.
Right, don't check me, I'm good.
And it's just like, you kind of just be like, oh, well, okay. Right. Then you go back and you think, well, maybe this person has changed. But then they continue to show you that this isn't for you. And once you realize that, then it's easier to let it go. I know for me, once I realized, like, you know what? Either you with this or you not. What you gonna do? And he chose not. I was like, cool, I'm good.
That's it.
And I literally was good.
Able to wash your hands
and able to, you know, walk away. But sometimes I know when we get those red flags and those signs early on, we tend to kind of not ignore them and not really pay attention to them. until it gets like bad.
And I knew how much I wasn't really. I don't even know how to describe it. I knew how much I was just kind of holding on for the sake of holding on when a situation happened with somebody who I really, really loved, and I completely did not think about this person. And it's crazy what you'll settle for when you can't have what you really want. Yeah. Like, it's crazy. It's so wild. Like, you will really put up with some stuff because you're just like, I'd rather be here, but I can't, so here I am. Like, okay, I'll be here. And it's crazy. Like, it's just wild. And you have to really ask yourself before you jump into anything else, am I at peace with everything that has happened prior to this? Because if there's if not, and it was just wild. I mean, me and this dude stopped talking, maybe end of November. I literally had a situation with somebody in December.
It happened.
And I was not I was not thinking about that at all. And I was like, this is a lot.
It definitely happens. And that's the process of when you're letting someone go and things, fall off and you're done, then someone else is showing interest and giving you that, comfort that you were seeking over there.
Attention,
even though you probably still ain't left that, but hey, this guy is right here. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of like when you get those signs early on, you have to pay attention to those. And the main thing is when you see those, you go to your partner, you talk to them, you communicate, you tell them how you're feeling and where things are. And once you guys get that dialogue going, if it goes to where he's not understanding and you still don't walk away to where you guys come to a common ground to where you both compromise certain things and you both are, looking at each other's feelings, then you have to know then and there to walk away from the situation. Even if in your heart you may not want to, but if your mind is telling you, you got to let it go because you never know what's waiting for you.
That's real. And the crazy thing about no matter what people believe in, whether you believe in God, the universe, however people say it, know that for me it's God. He's gonna make you do it.
Yes,
he's gonna make you do it. He's gonna keep put, but he's not gonna snatch. He's
no.
And it's one of the
and the devil is a liar. Let me just tell you, the devil is a liar.
Like, no, I'm gonna give you these situations, but I'm not gonna snatch them away because you have to do it. And people forget what it means to be a living sacrifice. When you sacrifice, that's something that you sacrifice, like not got taken away from you, not there's beyond you. No, this is within your control. But I need to know if you have enough faith in your purpose, in your journey to do it. And like that is crazy.
And trust the process. Trust the process and have faith that whatever it is that God is putting you through, that he is going to get you out. But you have to show him that you have that will to listen to him. And he will continue to push you in certain situations and put you in things just to see how you're going to react and what you're going to do, because he gives us the free will to kind of say yay or nay. And the devil is a liar, and then he'll come back. He'll come back in a shining suit and with a nice smile, and you be like, oh. But no, like, God definitely will give you that power, and he's trying to see if you trust him enough and have faith in him enough to know that he will give you all the things that you want and desire in your heart. And until you can realize that in that process, you're going to continue to go through the same types of situations over and over.
You gotta trust. If there's an imitation, there's an original. Like that's the thing. You have to trust that, and I think it's the hardest thing to do. Like as someone who loves love.
Yeah.
Like as someone who just loves love. Like I just love being in love, seeing people in love. Yes. I love it. I'm always rooting for everybody. Like oh my gosh, you're gonna live happily ever after. Like rom-com is my favorite genre. Like I love love, and it's so difficult because.
Love don't love us.
And then you get people get hurt.
And you're absolutely right, but then that's when it's on yourself to love yourself enough to overtake that love that other person is not giving you.
And I know, the thing that I was referring to when I asked y'all this question, I recently realized why me and my ex, my long-term ex, broke up, and that it was a good thing, and that it was hard because it's not like he's an asshole. It's not like,
it would be easier if he was.
It would be so much easier if he was an asshole. Like, he was just a horrible person, but like he wasn't, and we were both just like, we're not horrible people. We weren't horrible to each other, but we knew that we had to grow.
Yeah,
and that was something that I couldn't come to terms with, like, growing. Like, but I could grow with you.
Right? No.
That part.
And I'm a big person on that, like, growing together.
Me too.
I do feel like, in relationships, when you find someone that, you're just aligned with, you can grow together.
And, of course, you're going to when you're with that person that, like, you're supposed to be with, and this is how, like, we're moving towards something together, and, like, we're building, and you're supposed to grow together. But, like, when you actually need to grow
within yourself, that's a total different growth process.
Like, I'm just
that's a total different.
And now
growth
I
process.
get it, and I'm like, wow.
Yeah, nerves right now.
That really is like a total different growth process. And for me, I know that everybody is not like me and don't necessarily can take on things how I take them on. And that's like a big thing for me to kind of realize, like, I can grow within myself and recognize certain things within myself that I need to work on, even while I am in a relationship with someone and growing with someone in that way. Everybody isn't like that. And and when you're growing within yourself, you kind of have to be selfish. You have to be selfish, and you have to think about yourself. And for me, I always was like, no, we can grow together. What do you mean? What do you mean? And I've realized over the years that it's okay to kind of have that self-growth within yourself when people don't know who they are and they're not necessarily 100% self-aware. Sometimes they need to take that time to find themselves and figure them out, whether it's with you, with someone else, with a couple of other people. Like, trust me, I'm gonna let you. I'm gonna tell you guys. Go ahead. No, I've had someone that I really felt like this person was my soulmate. Like, when I say soulmate, everything that I wanted, everything that I ever thought that I would want in another person to be with me, this person was. At the time, he was not ready. He said, look, I respect you enough and have feelings for you enough and love you enough to kind of be like, I can't give you what I think you deserve in a man. So I can't, I'm not going to, have you in that space to where, you are there. He said, I'm just not going to do that. And for me, I kind of was like, but no, we can grow together. He said, no. He said, Maria, I can't do that. I just can't. It's just not in me. I'm not that type of guy. Now, granted, you do have some guys that, are okay with that process. He said, but that's not me. And I was just like, oh, man. I was like, like, I was heartbroken. Like, I really, really was heartbroken. But I can appreciate him, recognizing that on a level to where no one has ever in their life ever have said that to me. And I kind of was just like, I respect that. Like, all I can do is respect that.
And and you can fight it all you want, but like at the end of the day, he was honest.
Yes.
Yes. Didn't try
and also, I will say selfless in that sense. Yes. Because it's a selfish move for a selfless reason. As someone who's been where he is. That's the reason why she's like that. As someone who's been in a situation where, like, someone's like, I just want to love you. And you're like, I am not in that place to receive love right
I'm
now.
Just not ready to receive that.
And it's because you don't want to damage that other person.
Exactly.
When you're going through so much and someone's like, I think you're wonderful. You're like, first of all, I don't even believe that. You're just like, one. But it's just one of those things. It sucks because it's a gamble. You are literally gambling with someone who you may think is so perfect that you don't want to risk damaging them. Right. That's how you know you feel for you really feel for somebody, because it's like, I think you are so dope. And so pure,
with
and
your
so
flaws, with everything. That
I have so many flaws right now.
Yes. We can figure it out. Like, it was.
When they're on the we can figure it out tip, and you're on the I need to figure this out.
Figure me out.
It sucks because it's a gamble, because it's like they could come back, they could not come back.
Yes,
and that's the
risk we don't want to take. That's what
right, and that's
what if. No one else take that part. No one else take that risk. Please don't.
And that's the what if part that kind of sucks, where you're kind of like, but I don't know, because it just might, but then maybe that's not for you. Mm-hmm. And I had to really come to terms, with really accepting that, well, maybe he's right. Maybe, yes, he has all the things that I desire in a partner, but maybe he has some internal things that he's not ready to disclose or share with me that he needs to figure out on his own. and I had to be okay with that and accept that. And we're like friends. Like, that's like one of like my guy friends. So it's kind of like I understood once I got over, the devastation.
No, for real. No,
that's devastating.
You know what I'm saying? Like, me and him are, like good friends now. And I understand. And it's funny because I had told him maybe about a couple weeks ago, I said, you know what? I understand now. I completely understand. I said, so, whatever, you going through, you need support, let me know. Because I'm that friend to you.
Exactly. I literally just said this to my ex yesterday. I was like, yo, I understand.
I got you.
Right.
I get it. And I apologize for trying to make him feel
exactly.
Like we had to do something for, like we had to be together. Like we had to go through this right now. And I'm like,
well, as the person who's been on their side, literally know that it's devastating for them too. Yeah. Because it's like when you really sit back and reflect and you say to yourself, and yourself go, You're like, someone saw me in all of my craziness and was willing to love me through it. And I said no because a lot of times, sometimes it does come from a worth issue. Yes. I know for me, it was 50% worth issue, 75% worth issue, 25% not wanting to fuck this person up. Especially because typically how that happens, that is your friend. Right. So it's like, if I mess this up, I'm losing a friend. And this is my friend who knew me, knew every look on my face, knew every literally know you.
Self. Like that was that person.
To literally come up to you and be like, you trying to leave because you look miserable as fuck. I'm like, nobody else knows that but you. But know that it's devastating for them.
Yeah, no.
It's so it's so devastating. Like Christina knows she was this person for me is now engaged. So
I know. And the crazy thing is the crazy thing is like my friend, when I told him, I was seeing somebody, he was just like, oh man, like really? I was like, I'm saying, and he just was like, I can't be mad because
you can't.
I'm still working on me, but like just to know that I'm here for you, and I can appreciate that more. Like that, it helps me appreciate him more as a person and someone that genuinely cares about me, and even with me dating and meeting people, like I really value the friendship that I built with people, and especially men, because you have to be able, I feel like it's nothing wrong with having a guy that is your best friend. Well, not necessarily best friend, but close friend. Close. But I think that your partner should be like your close to best friend, your best opposite sex friend.
Yeah. I agree.
If you can't have that, it plays a part in your relationship. It's funny, I'm gonna say this real quick. My aunt, she her and her husband just celebrated their 40th anniversary. They've been married for 40 years. She said the key is be friends first. She said be able to talk to that person as your friend. She said when things happen or disagreement, she said no one is perfect, but you both have to be able to talk to each other in an open and honest way to where you guys can come to some common ground. Even if you may disagree, you agree to disagree and come to something common, and you both think about each other's feelings and come to that. I said, see, I'm okay with waiting. I'm all right with waiting, like, because that's what I want. I don't want anything that can be easily, done. I don't want that. I want to be able to work through the process in being a person that is not perfect, and for both parties to really recognize that no one is perfect. Everybody has flaws. It's just you gotta just love them enough to understand that, and
So I got another question for y'all. Somebody said to me that like every person that you love, like you love them different.
Yes.
So like do y'all think that do y'all ever try to like compare, like I know we all try to compare.
No, I do this.
But do we
I think everybody does.
Do you ever think that you can't that love can compare to this love, and like
it's different?
Can I start speaking on that? No, I literally do this all the time because for me it's easy because I only truly madly love two people in my life. So those are the only two people I compare. And going off what she said, so the reason my homeboy feels some type of way is because if they can't have you, they better have the best. And I know for me, like, when I got wind that things weren't the best for my guy who I was in a situation with, I really felt some type of way. Like, because I'm like, the least, like, I was really mad. I was like, the least the trick can do is, like, hold it down. Like, you know what I mean? He deserves the world. Like, can you at least be that? Because if it can't be me, it better be perfect. But off of that, going back to what she said, everything is, like she said, everything is different. You're in a different place. You're in a different time. You're in a different mentality. It's a different type of love. Like, the first guy I've ever loved was my high school sweetheart. I mean, he's literally texting me now. That's why my phone's blowing up. Like, I'm looking down at my phone, like, but that's because he will always be one of my close friends. Like, everybody who I've ever dated after him knows, like, every time we go home, we say what's up. Like, I still be like, hey, Mom. Like, because we just, that was my first love. And it was so innocent, and it was so pure, and it was so adorable. And we, like, still argue to this day. He gets on my damn nerves. But, like, I'm not in love with him the way I was because we're two different people now. Right. But for everything it was a gift to have had him. Yeah. And then for the second person I loved him completely different for ways that had nothing to do with why I loved my high school sweetheart. Like, nothing to do. And then there's some similarities. Like, well, with the second guy I loved him because he was just dope. My high school sweetheart is dope, but he was just dope. I mean, like, dope. I mean, he's a poet, like, psychologist, like, and literally takes so much time to really get to know people, which is a gift because not many people do that. Not many people take the time to observe people without calculating them. Yeah. And I think that's something that's really dope. And, like, to be attentive to people and to just genuinely care about people and to really be invested about people in people. Because my high school sweetheart is more selfish. He's a good person, but he's just a more selfish person. That's a characteristic. So the ways that they're similar, in my opinion, is because they're, like, my love for them will never change ever. Like, I will always, always, always love them. And the number one reason, and I think the only reason why they are so similar, is because I literally loved and love them for reasons that had nothing to do with me. It was all about them. And all the guys who weren't those two people, the reason why I loved them or thought I did is because they loved me, not because of who they were. So, which is selfish.
No. That's funny.
But it's honest.
Yeah, no, it completely is. And for me, like, to be honest with you, it's kind of just like, as I get older, you try to reflect on, oh, man, back then I loved this person, or I thought I loved, or I thought love kind of changes. And with each person, like you said, it's completely different. I can honestly say, for me, I've only been in love twice. I've only been in love twice. And I knew that I was in love with these people because of how it made me feel and how my thought process with that person was. And, you know, it's crazy because, like you said, it was two different reasons why I felt that, you know, I loved them or was in love with them, because those are two different things. You can love someone, but there's another to be in love with somebody. True. And for me, because I know how I love, like, I really do. I love hard, especially when I'm in a relationship. It's all across the board, like, love, you know? But knowing and recognizing that, you know, both people had different qualities, I would never get back with either one of them. The craziest thing. But as a person, certain things that they had were things that I admired and would want in a person altogether. Like, one was genuinely a really good person, like, had his stuff together. You know, genuinely a good person. And that's what I want. I want someone who's a genuine good person who will treat me well. Whereas the other guy, he was more of, he always made sure that I was good and thought about me. And that thoughtfulness is something big for me. So moving forward, I know what things to really, like, look at and to figure out in order for me to open myself up to even receive love and give love to another person.
And, like, one last, like, random thing that I just thought about, because as you were saying, like, about thoughtfulness, they're in just like, and then lacking that too. Have you ever like felt? Oh God. Okay. I know with this, I would say with the second person, that love was more of a soulful love. Like we weren't even in a relationship, but they're even like when we like run into each other now, or like more recently, like one time we were like Hoop for Hope, and it was just like all we were doing, we were sitting over there awkward, but like because we were just peep each other. Like we're just always there's just like this vibe that is just very, very unexplainable, and people are always like, why do you feel so strongly, or what is that? Like everybody's like, y'all relationship was weird. Like even when we were like just friends, because we were always, cause like I said, that was the person I was like, I can't be in a relationship now. Everyone's like, y'all relationship weird. Like y'all just be vibing. Like it's just sometimes it's the energy. It's the energy, and it's one of those things like we literally gravitate
and chemistry, and sometimes you can't.
I can literally feel when he feels some type of way. Like we like got into a little bit of a bicker one time, and I was like, oh, he feels some type of way about what I just said. I don't know. It's just one of those things that's like not really explainable, and it's like when I don't know. It's, and again, that's something that's outside of me, because I don't like feeling like someone can see me. Like even though I want to be seen, I don't like being vulnerable. I don't like being vulnerable at all.
I don't either.
And then someone who forces you, and someone who's willing to fight you for you. Like someone who's literally like, you finna be honest, and you about to tell me, like you're about to open up to me.
Like I don't even care.
Why are you trying to like people up in here?
Like people who check you, like I told you about not doing that. You just be like, first of all, anybody else, and even guys after him, I've been like, who are you talking to? But for some reason, because I know, like,
because you know it comes from a genuine place,
right?
And you know it's not a place where, you know, that person is trying to just be, oh, I'm controlling. That person genuinely knows you and knows and wants what's best for you. That's the key. Finding somebody that wants what's best for you and that genuinely cares about you. Genuinely. That I swear, like, even now to this day, like, that's what I want. If I don't feel that you're genuine, like, I can't even entertain you.
Word.
I cannot entertain you.
I feel that. Once you get the taste of a genuine friendship, relationship, you won't want anything after.
Yeah.
You can't. You can't. And if you do have something after because you're settling, guilty, you'll know. And it just make you feel icky inside. You're just like, ugh, this ain't right. But all right, here we are.
Right.
Here we are.
You're like,
all right, well.
On that note, we're going to wrap this up. And even though we always
you know,
it's that wine that the rolling game is right.
Salud.
But we will see y'all next week.
Next week.
Okay. All right. Bye.